Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing my ranking the last 11 palettes that I have tried out the past few months. I just want to come back and share with you guys all of the palettes I used and what I thought of them and rank them for you guys. So if you love eyeshadow palette rankings, definitely continue watching. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. I upload 3 times a week, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. And let's just go ahead and jump right in. So I actually have my number 1 on top, so maybe I should move the palettes all the way from 11 down to 1. So we have a little better ranking for myself anyways, that I know this is the bottom, making my way down to the top. So the first palette I have for you guys, so 11th spot, is going to go to my Berries in Cream Dominique Cosmetics. I was gonna say latte palette, but Dominique Cosmetics palette. Here is what the color story looks like. Perfect for everyday use. Her formula is super nice. That is the reason why I decided to pick this up. I do have the latte too, and I also have the Celestial Storm one as well. So I just really enjoy her formula. I think it's really nice. And if you have not tried out her formula, I definitely would recommend it. The mattes are super nice and buttery. The only reason this is like number 11 is because it's just a color story that I have a lot in my collection, and I definitely wanted to rank other palettes a little higher than this one. So I still really do enjoy this palette, and a lot of these palettes I really enjoy. They just gotta be ranked somewhere in the ladder here. So this is my number 11 palette. Number 10 is actually going to my Colourpop High Tide palette. I actually really like this palette still. I love the teal shades in here. I think it's so beautiful. I've created so many teal looks, and it kind of looks like I used this palette to create my look today, but I didn't. This is really nice. I got it from Ulta. You may be able to get it from Colourpop, but Colourpop formula is super nice. They're super affordable, and they just have really nice pigmentation. I rarely ever have issues with their formula. There are a few mattes here and there that I don't really enjoy, but overall I really enjoy the Colourpop formula. I just ranked this at number 10 because there are other color stories I really like from my ranking, a little more than just teal looks, but I'm pretty sure you can create the look I'm wearing with this palette here. But I really do like it. Again, a lot of these palettes I do like and I think are very nice. Number 9 is actually going to go to my Lethal Cosmetics x Teresa is Dead palette. This is the first time I have tried out Lethal Cosmetics, and I really wanted to try out the brand. I've heard really good things about them, and of course I really enjoy Teresa is Dead, and I wanted to support her as well. Here is the color story. It's a little more unique color story. Nothing that if I built a palette, it probably wouldn't look like this. The shimmers are actually super nice, but the mattes aren't that great, to be honest. I feel like Colourpop is a little better. I almost ranked this higher than this, to be honest, just because I really like the shimmers and the mattes in here, but this is a newer formula to me, and I actually really like the shimmers, so I decided to rank it up a little higher, but the mattes I'm not super impressed with. I kind of feel like I wish it was like a kind of like a different color story. I did now try Lethal Cosmetics out with this palette, and I actually don't think I'm going to be buying Lethal Cosmetics shadows just because just by trying out the matte formula I wasn't super impressed. I actually thought I have a ton of Colourpop palettes and I love that formula way more than this, and if you create your own palette from Lethal Cosmetics, it's like $70 something, and I definitely don't think it's worth it. So that is why this is ranking kind of lower. I do like the shimmers, but there's only 3 in here, so I did rank it higher than this one, which they were kind of fighting for the same spot, but yeah, I'm just not gonna be picking up more Lethal Cosmetics. Next up, 8th spot, is my Natasha de Nona Triochrome palette. I really liked this palette. I kind of jumped on this palette a little late. I had a credit on Poshmark, and that's where I got mine. I think I paid, I don't even remember how much I paid, but I didn't pay full price for this, maybe 20 bucks or something. Definitely worth the $20. Even if I did pay, like, I think they were asking 75 for it on Poshmark. It's definitely worth it. I really like the mattes in here. They're definitely up my alley. I wish the shimmer shades in here were a little more reflective and more duochrome or triochrome that they're supposed to be. And I wish I had more shimmers in here, but overall the mattes are super nice. This formula is way better than the Lethal formula is, but I really enjoyed this palette. I remember loving every single look I created with this palette, and I really enjoyed it. That is why this is ranking up a little higher. Next up, I have the Colourpop Lush Life palette. This is so beautiful. The packaging is beautiful. The color story is beautiful as well. This is definitely something different than what Colourpop usually comes out with. Besides all those neutral shadow palettes, they always come out with a few pops of colors, which I actually do have one of those palettes in my ranking, but this is really nice. I only ranked this a little lower just because I wouldn't really use all of the shades in here for work, but overall I love this palette a lot. I think it's beautiful and the shimmers are nice. I haven't found any duds in this with the matte shades. I think I applied this shade in on my lid for work one day and I was like, what did I do? So I applied like the gold on top, just to kind of tone it down a little bit, but I don't have any dud shades in this palette and I really love the color story. The packaging is beautiful, so I think it's really nice. Next up is what's on my eyes, and it's actually the Candy Skies Laura Lee x Erin palette, Erin Weaver palette collab. Here is the color story. I am wearing just these two shades right here from this palette. This is in this week's Shop My Stash, or last week's Shop My Stash. And I think it's beautiful. I ranked this up a little higher than the Lush Life just because I feel like the shimmers in here I'd actually wear to work. Like I'd wear this look to work. I would wear the purple. I've worn all these shades to work. I didn't wear this or these two over here, but everything else I've used and I really enjoy it, and I think it's such a really good quality palette. This is my first ever Laura Lee palette and I think it's really nice, and the color story is super beautiful as well. It's perfect for spring, summertime, and I've really been enjoying this palette. I definitely want to try out another palette from her. I'm eyeing the Nudie Patootie 2 palette from Laura Lee, but I would definitely pick up another palette from her. More of a color story that I'm like interested in, and I'm really happy I have this in my collection, and I think the packaging is beautiful as well. It's super nice and the formula is really good. Next up, I have the KK Beauty Camo palette. I'm actually really impressed with the quality of the mattes in here. The shimmers, well, some of them are good. I ranked it a little higher just because I feel like this is obviously a more like everyday kind of work appropriate color story compared to the Candy Skies, even though I would wear a colorful look like this to work. I really enjoy this palette. I like those grungy browns and greens in here. I think it's really beautiful. This shadow, I felt like it didn't really last, or it wasn't very like shimmery, if that makes any sense. It wasn't like a pop of shimmers, just kind of like a shimmer on the lid. Not so shimmery. This color right here is very unique. It has like a green gold flip to it. It's so pretty, and I really liked that color there. It looks like brown, but it's gold. It's really nice. The pigmentation in the mattes in here are super nice. I really enjoyed this palette. This was also in this week's Shop My Stash, and I really liked it. I think it's really beautiful. Definitely work appropriate with a little pop of green. I feel like green is a wearable like color. The packaging is really nice. The packaging is kind of like the Nars packaging where it's like that soft matte finish. It's really nice. Really enjoyed this. Definitely one to pick up and watch out for. Next up is my Natasha Denona bronze palette. Oh my god, every single look I created with this I loved. The only issue I had was that a lot of the looks that I created were really similar, even though they were different shimmers. Some of these shimmers are pretty similar. These two are close, these two are close. Even with these, well, these two are more closer than those two, but the mattes are super nice. They're definitely up my alley. Like I use those kind of mattes for everyday colors. I even use these shades for deepening my looks and stuff. I really enjoyed this palette. The shimmer shades in here are super metallic-y and very beautiful. I do wish that they had maybe lighter shades of bronze, if that makes any sense, because I did find that a lot of my looks did look super similar, but overall the pigmentation on this is super nice. I kept going back and forth whether to pick this up or the Zendo palette, and I heard mixed reviews on the Zendo, and I heard the shimmers weren't as metallic-y, and I like a metallic finish shadow, especially if I'm going to do something simple. Like I just really like the metallic finishes, and I was interested in Zendo, but after some reviews I just decided to go ahead and pick up the bronze, which Maybe now I probably should have got Zendo since a lot of the looks in the bronze palette are super similar, but I do really like that really reflective shadow on the lid. So I'm really happy with this. So this is ranking kind of high, but I did rank it a little lower than the next one just because a lot of the looks were super similar, but this quality in this palette is very, very nice. This is the Colourpop Limoncello palette. I love the packaging in this. And then the shimmers are super nice in here. The mattes are super nice. There's no duds in here. You do get this like kind of the similar shade from the KK Beauty, which is like a green, dark brown flip to it. Are these similar? No, this has like an orangey tint to it. But oh my gosh, the shimmers in here are very pigmented, super buttery and creamy. The mattes were super nice as well. I ranked this up a little higher than the bronze palette just because I feel like I get more looks out of this palette, but I feel like they're pretty on par on being like in my ranking. And I just really enjoyed this palette. I loved how creamy all the shimmers were. The mattes were nice. This is like really a really nice everyday palette, and again the shimmers are super nice, so that is why I ranked this up a little higher, just because I could get different looks than all like bronzy looks. Next up is the Kaleidos Club Nebula in collab with Angelica Nevequist. I don't know, but this is color story is super fun. I remember getting compliments every time I wore the shimmers in here. I really love the color story. I think it's like very unique but like wearable-ish kind of, but the shimmers are really nice. They're very metallic-y. I really enjoyed the Kaleidos formula. It's super good, and this was limited edition. I don't know if you can get it anymore, but I'm really happy I have this in my collection. I feel like I can create pretty wearable looks, and I do wear a lot of these shades like for work and stuff, and I really like it. I love the pigmentation on this, and I feel like the color story is super pretty and unique. Definitely different from what I have in my collection. So this is ranking number 2, and then the last one for my number 1 spot is the Beauty Bean times Shroud Cosmetics It's Freaking Bats palette. I've never tried Shroud Cosmetics, and again, I saw Beauty Bean was collabing with them. I wanted to try out the brand, so I went ahead and placed my order, and I received it like 3 or 4 months later. But I'm super happy that I was able to have this in my collection. I think this is restocked already if you guys are interested, or I don't know if it sold out by the time this video goes live, but this is really great formula. I'm definitely more impressed with the Shroud Cosmetics formula compared to the Lethal Cosmetics formula, and the color story is super unique, very beautiful. I would wear all these 3 shades for work, like all of the shades besides like this and this for work, but everything else in here I definitely would. And I really like the pigmentation. That's the only reason why I ranked it. The shimmers are super nice. The mattes are really nice as well. I would definitely buy more from the brand. I really like the Menagerie Cosmetics formula. I feel like Shroud and Menagerie are pretty similar, but just like this is my only Shroud Cosmetics palette, and I really liked it. So this is my number 1 from all of the palettes that I tried out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have you guys tried any of the palettes that I mentioned? What do you think of them? If you've tried some, what would be your number 1 from just color stories if you haven't tried out formula or anything like that? So definitely let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!